Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Now we're looking at the Fivics Cross and Riser and setting it up. So I'm looking at this bow to shoot for myself because it's very lightweight. Because I've just come out of heart surgery and I'm harping on about this. But I can't hold a very heavy bow and I've got to pull back a light poundage bow. So I shouldn't probably be pulling back a bow, let's just say that. But I want to pull back a very light poundage bow. So I thought, well, this one is lightweight, so it's a good bow to start with. It's got a grip I like, so let's fit some limbs. So I first off got some 22-pound limbs, and I fitted them in and I weighed the bow. It came out to 27 pounds. So we're going to wind the bow down. Now, on many videos, you'll see I say don't wind the bow up and down because people strip these things out. And they confuse themselves because the arrows will suit and then they won't suit because they're winding up and down the poundage. I say it's easy to grab a set of limbs, get the arrows to suit, and then when you're ready to change poundage, put some new limbs in, see if those arrows work. If they don't work, then you've got to get new arrows. Because that way you've got a set of limbs that you can go back to in poundage. What often happens is people wind up and down the poundage and they get confused. They don't know if the arrows are working or not, what poundage they work with, and they're just left in a state of disarray and it all becomes too hard. So I'm about making life easy. But for this case, I want the bow poundage as light as possible. The 22-pound limbs are 27, so at least that tells me where I go. You can see these are, I assume these are wound up on maximum poundage, so we're going to try winding them down. Now, on all limbs, you don't make the adjustment when the bow's fully strung. You've got to do it when the limbs are out of the bow and there's a lock-in screw in the back. There's always lock-in screws. If you don't adjust the lock-in screw, these are going to strip out, not a warranty claim, okay? So if you strip out limb bolts, not a warranty claim. That's not a manufacturer fault. That's your fault for being stupid. Although we have done them because just the arguments you have backwards and forwards, but that's why I do these videos, to educate people so I don't have to have big arguments with people literally about nothing. So we're going to wind this off. Now the Xenia riser comes with a little clicker plate here and some Allen keys. Okay, so one goes in the back. Now what I normally do is I put one in the front and then one in the back. So I put one in the front like this, because that way when I'm loosening it off, I know if it moves or doesn't move. Because what often happens, so I've loosened this now, I'm winding that out. What often happens when people are winding up and down their limbs, they lose count of where they're up to. So we're just going to do one full rotation and lock this back in place. So once you lose count of where you're up to, then you're all like in no man's land. You don't know what your limb tiller is. And again, people get confused. So I'm all about keeping life simple. Keep life simple, stop yourself getting confused. So one turn. So we're going to now, once I do this, we're going to check the poundage and see how much one turn reduces the poundage. You notice I leave the Allen key in there because on some limbs, as you tighten it, the limb bolt moves. So you can see, I can see a bit of thread. Now, if you wind it out too far, the limbs are going to pop because there's not enough thread. So you be careful, and how much can I adjust it? Well, that's what we're going to see in this video. So one turn and we'll check the poundage. One of the biggest questions I get is, what's the brace height? The brace height is 9 inches, and people are going to say, is that too big or too small? The brace height makes very little difference. The bigger the brace height, the more poundage you're going to have, the less travel you've got here, so less speed. So if the brace height's shorter, you get more speed, but then it reduces the poundage. Overall, it doesn't make much difference because one's versus the other. So the shorter the string, the more poundage, but the bigger the brace height, so you lose speed, but you've gained poundage. So just basically shoot a brace height where you feel comfortable. For me, I don't really worry too much about it. And it really doesn't even affect your sight settings that much from my findings. So that was 9 inches. We clipped the limbs in, we've wound it down. I'm going to say the limbs clipped in quite tight. So I think the first time I fitted the limbs, I probably didn't have them in fully because it was quite a tight fit. Draw length, poundage is measured at 28 inches. So I have a sort of scale here. So at 20 inches at 16 pounds, 22 inches, 18 pounds, 26 inches, 22 pounds, 27 inches, 24 pounds. So I'm going to just try and get it back to that 28 inches. So 25 pounds, so maybe it was right. So one turn, I've lost 2 pounds. Now the question is, how does 25 pounds feel? So I'm meant to be 5 kilos, which is 12 pounds. That's what I'm meant to be able to lift and do stuff with. So it's obviously too heavy. So let's just... Doesn't feel too bad. Look, I have a cross here, it still hurts, but it doesn't feel too bad. I just feel like I want to start moving my body and doing stuff. So I'm going to let off another, we're going to let off another wind and see what we get down to. Okay, so I've turned another turn down. So that's 2 turns. And I always say to people, you can really not feel the difference in 2 pounds. So when people, talk about moving up and down their limbs, I don't know the purpose of doing 2 pounds because you can't really feel it. Even over a round, you're really not going to feel it. So 4 pounds, you definitely will. In the higher poundages, once you move up to 50 pounds, I found you definitely feel the difference in 2 pounds. All right. So, but in the lower poundages, and I'm going to say under 40s and even maybe in the mid 40s, it's very hard to tell the difference in 2 pounds. So 4 pounds you'll definitely feel, so your body will start to hurt. So 2 turns off, 23 pounds at 28 inches. Now, so 23 versus 27, like it's there. I think I'll probably be okay with that. Now the way I'll do this, so I've got to set up the bow. The way I'll do this, and I've said on many videos, I'll start off maybe shooting 3 or 4 arrows. Maybe I'll shoot 3 or 4 arrows, and I'll shoot maybe 2 ends of 3 or 4 arrows, and then tomorrow I'll see how I feel. And then the next day I'll shoot twice as many, and the next day I'll shoot twice as many, and the next day I'll shoot twice as many. And when my body doesn't hurt, so I'm checking to see if my body hurts. When my body's comfortable and I can go back up to 90 arrows, 120 arrows, then the poundage goes up. So for me to get to the stage where I'm comfortable with this poundage, and when you're starting off on a new bow, start off shooting a few arrows, like shoot 3 arrows, maybe 6 times if you can, or 5 times, so 15 arrows. And space them because it gives your body a break. And you might go, well, I don't need that. I see so many times when people go, my body feels good, and then the next day they can't move for a week, right? And even in the low poundages. So, because their body's not used to it, right? So I'm only going to shoot probably 6 arrows. That's it. 6 arrows, and we'll probably do it on camera. And just then the next day I'll see how I feel. And if I didn't hurt myself, if I hurt myself, that'll be a bit disappointing. And I'll be in real trouble from I'll be real, she'll probably like kick my ass. But I will be in severe trouble. But then the next day I'll shoot, maybe 4 ends of 3 arrows, and then 8 ends of 3 arrows, and then I'll gradually build up the ends to maybe 12 arrows. I'm not worried about the clicker at this stage, right? Because it's just pull back, shoot, get the muscles working, see if this is all in the right spot. I just want movement. That's all I want in my body. I just what movement, things happening. Volume, consistency, the time you spend training. So this is the Fivics Crossing, and you can see I've got a Fivics shirt on. And when I say I'm sponsored by Fivics, Fivics gave me a bow and gave me arrows and stuff. Not this bow they didn't give me, they didn't give me these limbs. But as far as beginners bows go, this is the lightest metal riser on the market, and I really like the Fivics grip. So for me, getting my child into the sport, getting a lady into the sport, and even a man into the sport, this is a great choice because you can always add weight in the stabilizers. So anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. This is the bow we're going to set up. So we'll do a video where we set up this and we're ready to shoot. One of the things we're going to build is the string for it, so the arrows clip on perfectly. Sight and rest, and we'll be in business. Thanks for watching. Bye.